Here's the truth. We live in a world that celebrates the seen. Your image, success, money, abs. But the real truth is, strength is built with the unseen.
In the quiet moments when nobody's watching, in the way that you love your family, and the faith that you live out, not just talk about.
Fitness is the vehicle, but purpose is the destination. And when you align your body, your mind, and your spirit with God's design, you stop chasing change and start becoming who you were created to be.
This is where faith meets discipline, where family meets mission, and where community becomes the catalyst for lasting transformation.
We're Tim and Alicia, and this is
The Fit and Faithful Life.
where the goal isn't just to be fit.
It's to live faithful.
What is up, guys? We have not made a podcast in
A long minute.
At least a day or two. It's been a few days since we've made a podcast.
There are more, but who's counting?
It was
It's
like
okay.
October.
It's totally fine.
Happy
Taco Tuesday.
I still had diet face. So we thought we'd start off the spring on a good foot by starting our podcast, A Fit and Faithful Life, which we have done a couple episodes. If you haven't seen it, make sure to look it up. It's on YouTube as well as now officially on Facebook Live as well. So
We'll post a link below.
yes, so think about marriage, fitness, faith, and all things that makes a family really strong.
I was going to say,
I just
anything
came up-
else that comes up
I
in
just
conversation.
came up with that right
I
on
was
the
going to
spot.
say, he did not discuss
I
that
did not
with me
chat
before.
GPT that beforehand. So today we're going to do something really fun. We're going to play a little game of...
Don't be cheating. He's
we're
already
going to call
trying
it
to
10 questions. So I have concocted 5 hard-hitting questions
I'm not scared.
for Cece, and she's also concocted 5 for me. We have not seen these.
Unless he cheated.
I
when
didn't cheat,
went
I
to
promise.
put Bree's donut on.
I did not cheat. Pinky swears. I didn't cheat. It only counts if you kiss it, yes. So, we're gonna go, you go, I go style. I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
Elaborate as little or as much as you want.
I can handle that.
And then you'll ask me a question. There's no winners, there's no losers.
That's why I like this game. You can't lose.
So, we'll start off with a bang. Alright. Have you heard the game F, Marry, Kill?
Never.
Never. Okay. So it's a very popular game on the social medias. The F I'm not going to say. So I came up with a more PC version of it. Date, marry, kill. So I'm going to give you 3 options. 3 things. You've got to date one of them. You've got to marry one of them. And you've got to kill one of them.
Oh boy. This
So you've got to
sounds
categorize
awful.
it. This is a great game to play. Alright. So date, marry, kill.
Okay.
Tacos, ice cream cake, or steak.
You just did that because you know I love all 3 of those.
That's always what makes the game fun. Is you have to pick things that you would have trouble like just dating. One that you'd have to marry and one that you have to kill, meaning you don't get to use it. You don't get to have it anymore.
Well, I'm definitely marrying tacos. Let's just get
agree with
that.
one.
You
She's gonna marry
probably figured
tacos.
that.
My
But
last
now I
name's
gotta-
my last name's Cruz. Well, so is hers now. And though I don't look like a Mexican, she likes tacos. That's probably why she chose me. Just saying.
Okay.
So she's
But
marrying
date one and
tacos.
kill him one.
Yeah, you're gonna date.
I'm gonna date the ice cream because
You're gonna kill a steak.
it's the options you gave me.
Hey, it's your game. It's your life.
That's what I'm gonna have to
That
just makes me sad. I,
I was-
don't like this game.
I was thinking you were going to kill the ice cream cake because even though they're amazing, being lactose intolerant with UC, it wouldn't be the funnest thing to...
Yeah, but I'm not always in that state and I love me some ice cream cake.
So you're just going to
Right.
date occasionally. Like this is like
Right.
when I'm in town, ice cream cake.
Yeah,
I'll hit you
convenience
up
dating.
like at 2 a.m. after
I've
like
never
a
done
night
that,
at the
but I
bar.
went for my ice cream cake.
I'm tired. I've had a couple drinks. You're convenient.
Yes.
Dairy Queen is right around the corner.
That's
They're
it.
already made it. Okay.
Because I can't
Okay.
eat it all the
There's
time.
no
but
need,
I
like-
can't. I'm not just sticking with like straight meat. I
Like,
gotta
come
have
on,
some
like
variety
a
in
good
my
filet
palate.
mignon. Amazing steak.
It is awesome.
I know. I would.
But I also couldn't eat that all the time. either.
I would marry the steak, and date the tacos, and I'd kill the ice cream cake. That's
Of
just
course
me.
you would.
That's
I
just
could.
me.
I could totally see that.
Yeah.
And I can see that logic too. Okay. So for your first question, what has surprised you the most so far, about being married to me?
Okay, so I can only give you one answer?
One overarching, and then you can have a bonus.
Okay. Number one, and hopefully this makes you feel good. You're far tougher than I could have ever imagined. Especially going through this last season, last like 6-9 months, with all the physical like ailments, from injuries to neurological stuff to UC stuff, and just your ability to just keep going even though a lesser of a woman would not. So proud of that, but also way tougher than I thought you'd ever be.
I was even giving you like grounds for that to be a funny one and vulnerable, but thank you.
Yeah.
So what's your bonus?
Bonus one is you're actually a really damn good cook.
I've actually been really surprised with you. You are a really good cook. I figured you were just going to be bro like chicken and rice, and
I do plenty of chicken and rice.
He throws together some really good concoctions. So
I'm a fat
sometimes
kid at heart.
it's out
Fat
of
kids,
like
yeah, you have to know how to cook.
same. So I started cooking pecan pies. So all right,
number 2. What has been the best overall diet for you for sustainable fat loss? So like to get and stay lean consistently without hating your life. Like what has been your best diet? Like, describe that to me.
Honestly, I would say the diet that, or like the nutrition plan that you had me on, like leading up to our wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't feel deprived with that at all, and we had some good flavor in there. And
so kind of walk through, do you remember what the diet consisted of?
I don't remember like all of it. I know we had some salsa because I was always getting salsa at Winco, but salsa and eggs and spinach and rice, and even at some points we were doing like the chicken and the peaches and the honey and almond butter and just things that I had never really thought of. And it's just when you have like certain things that you can pick from, and it's like, hey, these fit within my macros, it's like, how can I mix these together and enjoy it?
Mm-hmm.
I had some tacos in there, and
you were eating like 5 times a day, if I remember.
I was eating 5 times a day, but it was a good mix of like sweet and savory. I don't do good when I'm all one way or the other.
I remember you were like alternating that. It was like savory, and then you'd have a sweet meal, then a savory meal, then a sweet meal.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'd have another sweet meal before we went to bed, because I do remember you doing a little bit more of
just,
like the rice cakes at night.
I was going to say the rice cakes and like the protein paste and just making it fun. But like, honestly, I've done really well with that. There's only been seasons, and some of it has been since I've had some like recent health stuff come up and I'm super limited. But outside of that, I just always make my food fun and taste good and things of that nature, because I know if it's not, then I'm not going to stick with it. Mm-hmm. So
she gives herself way less credit. She's about like a robot like I am. If it was a means to an end, you would...
Yeah, but I wouldn't enjoy it. And I do.
No, but you would still be able to suck it up and do it, because you are tough.
I am goal driven.
But at the same time, it's not something sustainable was one of the keywords I threw into that question.
Yes. Okay, you're number 2. What has been the single most impactful shift that you have made in your fitness journey?
So there's been 2 major ones, but I'll go with probably the most. They're both super impactful, just in different ways. I'll keep it recent. So the most recent big one is how I prioritize fitness and bodybuilding specifically. Mm-hmm. It was an all-encompassing goal of mine for well over a decade. And it's still very important to me. Mm-hmm. But I used to orchestrate my entire day around meal timing, when I trained, when I did cardio, and then everything else got put into like the time slots that were left over.
Whatever's left over.
Right. And
you're not the priority. You're the little pebbles.
Even me, I wasn't a priority. It was like, these are the things that Tim must do. Mm-hmm. Now it's kind of the opposite. So it's like, what do I have to do today? In fact, my heart change this year is actually, this is the year not of me. So when I wake up in the morning, it's like, number one, like, what is God using me for? And it's even one of my daily prayers is like, God, use me. Like, how can you use me? Where am I needed? And then how can I show up for you? How can I show up for Devon? How can I show up for the other people in my life, even at work? And then after all of that is scripted out, then the gym gets put in. And sometimes that gym time, it's a little bit constricted now. Like it literally, I went from training.
Think you would ever do that,
like
honestly.
2 hours and change a day to most of the time now it's like an hour hour and 15 minutes max. And honestly, it's been a really good shift because mentally, I've made probably more progress this off season than I honestly have in the last 4 off seasons in a row. And I would attribute that to just not putting so much damn stress on it. And it's like the software system that's running in the background, but it's not the main driving factor of my days anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the first one. The second one was after running through a bunch of injuries in my late 20s and not training like a friggin' strongman powerlifter anymore because I ran through a couple pec tears and a groin tear, a hip flexor tear.
One would have been all I needed to be
a bicep tear, all within a calendar year of each other. And
I didn't realize they were that close together.
Yeah, the pec tears weren't. The pec tears were a little earlier than that. Those are the first 2 major injuries, and they were back to back because it was I tore the pec, and then I kind of pseudo rehabbed it, and then it felt better, and then I went back to training just as if I had never tore my pec, and then it really tore the second time. That was 8 weeks away from each other, so that might be considered the same injury, but the bicep, the hip, the groin. Those were all within 6 months of each other. It was actually during I was prepping for a strongman meet, and that was when God was like, "Hey, you're strong, but you're not a Viking, so maybe just go bodybuilding."
that was more in line of what I figured.
Which sucked because I really love strongman. It was my favorite. All right, for you, another hard hitting one, really deep and emotional.
Oh gosh.
What are your top 3 favorite movies?
Oh, this is so unfair just because I cannot think of all of them.
I cannot remember 3 movies, period.
I will have to say Open Range has always been one that I've really liked for multiple reasons. Of all times. That's just so hard because you've got Christmas movies, you've got action, drama.
Anyone's count. Christmas movies too.
What do I really get excited to see? I don't know. I do love movies, but put me on the spot. This is what I don't do good with. Put me on the spot. I have to think about these things. Trying to think of the ones that you just always Maverick. Top Gun Maverick's probably got to be one of the top 3.
Which, by the way, was our first movie that we watched together.
At the movies.
At the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I say, we watched.
Yeah, we watched When a Star Is Born first.
And
when you came over to the house and we both bawled our eyes out because Bradley Cooper dies. But Lady Gaga could sing.
I don't know. I might have to right now just say Home Alone because it's
Home
one
Alone?
of those. The original. Just it's not Christmas without it. There's just so many laughable moments in that. And then as an adult, I think it's funny. You think back and you're like, what in the heck did he do in Chicago to afford a mansion like that?
So that is a very good thought.
Kids.
But also, my thought is they realized that they left their kid and they just continued on with their vacation.
They were in the middle of the air. They're not going to turn the...
I'm sorry, but if you had a kid who was clearly in elementary school, he's not that old, would you not just go back as soon as you landed? I would.
Well, they tried to.
Poor
Anyway,
kid.
we don't want to get sidetracked on that. We could have a whole series on that. Okay, so your number 3 is, do you think GLP-1s are a good tool for fat loss? And please explain.
So short answer is yes. I think they're probably one of the best, if not the best drug ever invented for fat loss. And I'm saying that because it's single-handedly curing obesity. Mm-hmm. And there's been a bazillion...
There's a reason I asked this question.
A bazillion drugs that have came out from, fen to, what was the other that was super popular? I killed a bunch. Ephedra. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember what the actual name of the drug. Ephedra is the actual drug, but there was a really popular brand that got made illegal because it had ephedra in it. There's been so many medications and supplements and whatnot. And GLP-1s, on average, if we look at even Ozempic, which is generation 1, people study, the average person lost 20% of their body weight in a calendar year. That's the average person. And we work with people directly. So we know that without intervention on diet and lifestyle, the likelihood of someone just randomly losing 20% of their body weight is almost unheard of. So yes, I think they're a very good tool for fat loss. Now, I know that's the whole question, but the subtext is are they the right tool for everybody?
Yeah.
And I would say that is a hard no. I think that they are a tool for a job. And I can kind of camp these out. So number one, if someone has a very serious issue with controlling their portions, and we both know those people, and I'm sure you guys can probably relate to it, or you know people like this that have a serious issue with turning off the intake.
Food noise,
and not even food noise, like once they start, like physically having trouble stopping. Or, they get into any kind of diet and they break and they just raid the pantry, or they go to fast food. Like, this will help that problem big time because it really has an effect at the brain level. Another demographic of people, especially when we get into the tirzepatides or even the retatrutide, which is like the generation 2 and 3 of these medications, people have issues with blood sugar. So like with the GIP, which is, it works at the pancreatic level and really helps with blood sugar control. It is very powerful for controlling blood sugar, which diabetics, people with prediabetes, any type of insulin resistance, super powerful. And then with the retatrutide, it has even a little metabolic boost to it too with the glucagon agonist. So it'll actually raise metabolic rate. So for those demographics of people, or here's another small camp in there too, people with cholesterol issues. Like especially generation 3 retatrutide has shown to massively reduce LDL cholesterol and even improve HDL cholesterol. So there is a lot of a host of benefits to those populations using the medications, even aside from weight loss. Now the downside, or where I think they're negligently prescribing these, or let's be honest, a lot of people are getting them online without a prescription.
Yeah. Please don't do that, by the way.
If you have any gut issues, like especially gastroparesis.
I don't have gastroparesis.
Really big issue because it does delay gastric emptying and it can make that issue worse. If you have any issues with your pancreas, like there has been noted cases of pancreatitis associated with these medications. They're rare, but they can exist, and that's a very fatal disorder. Like you can die from pancreatitis. Other people that, okay, let's be honest, if you have 15 pounds to frickin' lose and your first line of defense is like a GLP-1, like someone slap you, like for real. Like you need 3 steps to put the fork down and get to the gym. Like, I don't think that this should ever be the first line of defense. I think it should be much like a supplement. Like, hey, we're doing all these things foundationally correct, but we need some support. Boom. I think it should come with a mandatory counseling around food and lifestyle. When we talk about things like Ozempic face or just the sheer loss of muscle mass while using these medications, has nothing to do with the medications.
Right.
Has everything to do with the fact that you're not eating enough dietary protein and not doing any sort of resistance training at all. And guess what? If you just starved yourself, you would get the same problem.
Right.
And the problem is, though, is if you're just starving yourself by default without any GLP-1s, you probably can't do it for very long enough to get those effects, because your brain will override it and you'll end up eating more than you need.
And this is why I asked for details on that, because I wanted him to go into.
I also just want to say that in the fitness space in general, there's a very hard line where I feel like we want to be a little bit dogmatic about the GLP-1s. Like people get literally mad when they hear about people using GLP-1s. Like there's some kind of rite of passage. Like I sucked it up and I went through the hard stuff. But you have no idea about what that person's situation is. And quite frankly, I don't freaking care whether or not it's hardcore or not. Like, is it effective? Is it effective? Is it sustainable? So I don't think it's black and white. I don't think they're bad. I don't think they're good. I think we need to have a nuanced conversation.
It's definitely per person.
Yeah, I don't agree with the fitness professionals that like demonize it. And I also don't agree with people that think it's God's gift to humanity.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. So number 4 for you. All right. So this one is actually kind of a serious one. So what is the biggest mistake you see women make when it comes to losing weight?
Shiny object syndrome. Like it's whatever is on TikTok, it's what they see their friend doing. And everybody's body is different. Like even if it was my sister who is, from the same mom and dad as me or whatever, like our bodies are not necessarily going to respond the same way to things. And
Can you talk about just a little bit? Because I know one of the things that you do with a lot of clients that you work with is genetic testing. So maybe speak to that and the actual genetic variances that you see and how that informs your decision on how to, let's say you maybe you're a little bit more carb sensitive than the average person, meaning you have a little bit more robust insulin response to carbohydrates than another person. Like,
right.
How does that play into like the inter-individuality that you're speaking to?
Yeah, so it's a really good point. It's what set me free, and a lot of people that I've gone over their genetic reports with is just the nuance of it, and then the fact that a lot of times people try to take it to extreme. So even if they get a genetic report back and they say they're medium to high sensitivity, that does not mean you can't have bread. That does not mean you cannot have any carbs for the rest of your life, and you have to get brought in from Europe and make all your own pasta or like whatever. Mm-hmm. But everybody's body just responds differently to things, and then it's the combination of your genetic markers and factors. It's, are you high risk for inflammation? Do you methylate folate well? What does your B6, B12 vitamins look like? What's vitamin D look like? Our body is a bunch of systems that work together, and I think a lot of times people try to isolate one thing and address one thing, and we can't do it. Like, it's just impossible. So just being able to hone in on, hey, like, what you're doing may not even get you to the result that you want. It might be something that's effective, but if you're focused on body composition and this is like eating at your muscle because it's more than what you're fueling your body with, then it's not going to be a good fit for you. So I think at the end of the day, even once you know genetically where somebody is, you have to know where they want to go before you can.
So when you're working with the client, like, let's say pretend like I'm a 45-year-old female that comes to you, and I'm like, hey, Alicia, help me. Would you have me? First of all, I'm assuming you'd want to know like my goals. Like, what am I trying to accomplish? Mm-hmm. But then where would you go from there? Like, would you have me do a genetic test? Would you gather details about me? Like, how would you go about like deciding like, oh, this is the type of nutrition plan I would put you on? How would you go about that as a coach?
Well, I'd really want to know like what you've tried before. What was your experience with that? Are there things that you liked or didn't like? We've already addressed like what your goal would be and where you want to go with that. But then honestly, the next thing would be genetic tests, because we can sit here and guess all day long, but why am I going to guess when I can have a blueprint on what's going to work best for your body? Mm-hmm. And then, analyze that along with where you are and where you want to go. And then it makes it a real narrow roadmap to what we need to lay down, what we need to focus on. And it helps us. What happens with a lot of people when it comes to that in their health and fitness journey is just, you don't try something long enough. And if you're not doing what is going to work most efficiently for you, then even if you give it 2 months, it's not what's most efficient for you, and you're going to give up or you're going to get discouraged, and you need something that's going to get you quick wins. Mm-hmm. So the reason that I do like using the genetic test as a tool is because it just gets us to that a lot faster. Mm-hmm. So. And then
it frees you up as a coach, I'm assuming, too, because once you have the plan laid out, then execution becomes the only thing that's separating the person from where they are to what the goal is. Yeah. And then you, as a coach, okay, now we can coach the execution side of it, aka their lifestyle. Like, how are we actually implementing this on a day-to-day basis? Because you can have the perfect plan, but if you're not consistently executing the plan, it really doesn't matter. Like, let's be honest, like, C's don't make MDs when it comes to diet and fat loss. Like, you can Monday through Friday rock it, but Saturday and Sunday, if you're like blowing out in and out and getting that ice cream cake, like, you can probably ruin an entire week's worth of progress if you do that. So
just FYI, I never heard C's make MDs until I started dating this man, and he's not wrong. And I was already a little skeptical with all my health stuff.
Not everybody can graduate first in their class.
Life world, and there are great doctors out there, and I'm very grateful for their help. But it is just kind of a funny, especially when we're having like issues.
Because it rhymes.
But yes, okay. Super serious question: who is your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero. This is like your movie question.
You're welcome. Back at you.
Okay, so
for those of you who don't know, he knows all about all the movies, all the Avengers, all the comics. He can give you the history on all. I didn't even know there was so much history on all of these things, and I'm like, I have missed so much watching these movies.
They've been around since like freaking 1920s. Like,
I know.
Favorite superhero though? That's a very tough question. I'm gonna have to say.
So you can pick 2. You're on a 2 roll. Okay, so everything else you want to do.
So I'm gonna use some comic book jargon here that you probably won't understand. So I'm gonna pick one street level superhero. Okay. And then one cosmic level, or one like OG superhero. Okay. So street level, my favorite is gonna be Moon Knight.
Okay.
And I'm sure you have no idea about what Moon Knight is.
Well, I've seen him once on some kind of something. I know it's like a silvery gray outfit. See, I get somebody's points for paying attention.
It's a white outfit, and it's a guy that has a multiple personality disorder.
That kind of scares me.
Yes, but it's so awesome because he has 3 distinct personalities that come out in different ways when he's not Moon Knight. Because Moon Knight only really comes out in the presence of the full moon.
Oh yeah, isn't he the one that he's has the sand at the end of his bed or something, so he knows if he got up?
Yes.
We did watch.
So he'll get up and he'll do all kinds of crazy shit when he's Moon Knight.
That he doesn't know about.
But Moon Knight has 2 other variations of himself as well that all are a little bit different as well. So there's the traditional Moon Knight, which is awesome.
This sounds like picking 3 and 1 to me.
But he's also part of his set. He's morally fairly good. He's a mercenary, so he kills people and whatnot. But it's always people that are bad. But then there's another one who his iteration on, or his normal person named Stephen Grant. He's like a historian. So he knows all the things about all the things, specifically about Egyptography, which is or Egyptology. And this is all set.
Very specific.
This is all set in Egypt, right? So think of pharaohs, think of Osiris and all of the lore that goes with Egypt, which is probably why I'm drawn to it, because it's just really cool. And he's a terrible fighter, but he's really smart. He can solve all kinds of problems.
Okay.
But then the third one is a legitimate sociopath. And so when shit really needs to get done, Moon Knight will black out and this other guy will take over and he'll just straight kill people.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, and you never know. And while they're blacked out, they have no idea what happened. So when he wakes up in the morning, he's like, what happened? Why are all these dead people all around me? Yeah, I have no idea. So he's my favorite street level.
So cosmic level.
And so we go cosmic level. This is a tough one, but I'm gonna have to say the Scarlet Witch.
Okay.
So she's just OP. So she's all powerful, can literally control the universe with her mind, create things, destroy things, multiple universes. She can travel between universes. She has a thing called
the whole multiple universe
dream walking, where she can go into a trance and a different variation of herself that's in a different universe. She will control that one and make them do stuff. But she's also she's got all these powers. So she's like a witch, so she can do all kinds of things. Yes, she's awesome.
Interesting.
Yes. And kind of
scary.
A little bit of so the commonality between the two, and I'm going way nerd on this, is they're both anti-heroes.
Yeah.
So they both have a strong internal struggle that they're going through personally. So they can do things that are not, they're not like Superman. Superman's 100,000% good all the time, and it's a little lame. Same with Captain America. They don't even curse. They don't do anything bad. It's a little easy to predict them versus someone like Moon Knight or somebody like the Scarlet Witch. They dabble between doing things that we would probably consider wrong or bad, and they play for different teams, but it's all based off of their personal struggle that they're going through. And I feel it's a little bit more human than the true superheroes, because we also have those internal struggles.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's what they kind of capitalize on.
All right, so last one for you. What are your top 3 favorite / most necessary supplements that you use? Because I know you got a host that you're using.
Yeah.
Mostly vitamins and gut aids and things like that. But if you could only pick 3, let's pretend you don't have UC.
Okay.
And you're just strictly just
healthy lifestyle,
performance, body composition. Yeah. What would be your top 3?
My top one would probably have to be BioAge, just because of the cellular level support and.
So speak to that a little bit, yeah, because I don't think. A
lot of people are not going to know.
Yeah.
It's an NAD plus booster, but it's something that you just put on your tongue and it dissolves and just really supports each individual. Everybody's different. What you're struggling with is different. And because we're always going to have something going on that our body needs support at from a cellular level, that's why I would say that. And for those of you that don't know, the reason that people like Tom Brady and some of those professional sports athletes like that can play well into their 40s is because they've been getting NAD plus injections for years that are like thousands and thousands of dollars. They actually are really painful if you've ever had the injections. You know, and then
but
even
they'll increase like obviously energy.
It's kind of like aging backwards.
They're working at the mitochondrial level.
Yeah.
Right. So NAD is directly involved in our production of ATP at the mitochondrial level. So that's like our cellular currency for energy. So having a shortage of NAD production in our body, which a lot of us do, especially as we age, we leak this stuff out, right?
After our 20s.
We can feel like the lights got dimmed.
I was gonna say that's the first thing I do. I always tell people, it's like the screen brightness in your phone goes dim.
Yeah, it's like a screen's like an energy saver.
But you can turn it back up.
But with something like BioAge, which is more than just an NAD plus.
I was gonna say the biggest differentiator.
MNN. It's like
the pterostilbene too.
Yes,
because it kind of takes away your senescent cells, like your trash, the waste, because you know, like you got to get that out of the way too. It's no different than having clean streets, you know, at home or in a city or something like that. So I would say just because of the plethora of things that it can help with,
that would energy be the first to cognition to honestly even just your general sense of well-being.
Yes.
And imagine just how much more stuff you can get done throughout the day and feel good about it. Working out more consistently, probably working out harder because you have more energy. Having more energy at the end of the day when you go from work to like actually engage with your family and like be present. I think it's a unique supplement in that. Like it's not like your pre-workout.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna name anything that's like you can get like 4 or 5 different variations of this. My number 2, and I would say, is a product called Load that I take because it has not only creatine in it, which is helpful for so many things, but also peak ATP and my HMB.
So HMB is huge, yeah.
You know, creatine, there's so many studies on that. We don't even have to touch on that.
It might be the most researched supplement.
Even some of the latest research that's come out on cognitive function support and things with that. But then even with the MyHMB, peak ATP, just the muscle retention, building lean muscle, especially as people age. Like all of my older clients, actually shared it with 2 different people yesterday. Just thought of somebody else in Montana that I need to share it with. But just preserving that lean muscle, especially when people are not even able to like work out or say that they've had a surgery or they're just aging. You know, being able to, for those who are physically fit and active, maybe they're training to, you know, go on a big elk hunt or do a high rocks or just life. They're just like us and they just want to be fit no matter what. Having that better workout intensity, recovery for your next whatever you want to do. Again, it's just like one of those that kind of covers a lot of things.
Well, in creatine, one of the things that I most recently came into is the research around creatine and depression and anxiety. So people, this has been clinically studied. Well, Alzheimer's, that was one that's been studied a while ago. It's a very good mitigator of Alzheimer's and dementia, right? Cognitive decline, like any of those neurodegenerative disorders that happen. But when it comes to depression and anxiety, like these are short trials. Like we're talking 12 weeks to a year. People that opted out of using their SSRIs and started using creatine, and we're talking specifically the 10 to 30 gram dose per day.
Okay.
Right? Massive differences. Like over half of them within the first 12 weeks, their depression and anxiety ceased. Almost 95%, not almost, 95% of the population that was studied over the course of 12 months saw all of their symptoms disappear from depression and anxiety. I'm not saying stop taking your SSRIs, but I have some skepticism around SSRIs and their efficacy. When something like this, which is ubiquitous, meaning it's super cheap in comparison, it's also a lot of upsides with very little to zero downsides. The only downside, I'll just be fully transparent, but the only downside to creatine is that a certain percentage of the population, if they take more than 5 grams at a time, will get the bubble guts a little bit. So if you are that person, and when I mean bubble guts, like diarrhea, if you're trying to take 10 to 20 to 30 grams during the day, you wouldn't take that all at one time. You would probably take 5 grams, and 5 grams, like you would take it breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Spread it out
So you don't have the creatine load. Also, if you see creatinine on your blood work, it's not the same damn thing, so don't think they're conflated. So creatinine is a byproduct in your kidneys. Creatine is not creatinine. It's a different thing. It's actually, when we talk about ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, that phosphate group is actually donated from creatine phosphate, which is the full name of creatine. Creatine phosphate donates a phosphate group, so within the Krebs cycle, that's how we make ATP. So creatine actually directly helps us produce energy for glycolysis, which is what we need when we're training.
See, and that's exactly why I use it. We just have two different ways of explaining it. So third, because I didn't
Nerd
forget,
in real life.
Yes. This is how we coach, because I do enjoy like knowing all the details of that. I'm just not going to remember all the details of that, if that makes sense. But the third one that I would say is the hydration drink that I use, because hydration is just so important no matter what we do. Yeah, there's other things that I'm like, oh, I hate to like not have my sleep strips or not have some
hydration, is that kind of like Prime?
No, absolutely not. He's gonna make me real.
We made a real.
I said my hydration drink.
Sugar. What is in the hydration? Like, it's a full spectrum electrolyte.
Yeah, I don't get like bogged down into like the ingredients, but it is clean ingredients, sugar free,
and it has a full
spectrum. It's the ratio of the electrolytes that are in there.
Sodium, potassium, magnesium.
No offense, I'm gonna break somebody's heart right now. All of you people that like are married to your LMNT and you think that you need to take that. A lot of you ladies that are bloated all the time. Your problem is LMNT, because you're not trying to carry an elk down a mountain, and you're not doing high rocks and running a 5K in the same day, and you do not need that much sodium.
No, you probably need. And I literally had a call with a check-in with a client earlier this week.
So many times.
And I'm not saying that LMNT is a bad product.
It's not.
It's just it's overdosed.
It needs to be the right
overdosed
tool.
It's overdosed for the average person.
The everyday.
Guess
activity.
what? I'll give you a hack. If you like LMNT, use half of the little strip. It'll double how much you have, because they're not cheap either.
No.
And now you're getting 500 milligrams of sodium with 200 milligrams of potassium. Like, you're getting the right ratio, but you're getting the right ratio for you.
It's not the right ratio, because it's still
about
super
two to
sodium.
1. Yeah, but you want about 2 to 1 sodium to potassium. It's also in conjunction with how much fluid you are consuming. So you should be getting right around 500 milligrams of sodium per liter of water that you're consuming.
Right.
So we're dumping a freaking LMNT into a cup like this. That is probably 28 ounces of water.
Oh, that's only 20.
Yeah, so it's less. It's less than a liter. It's like 2/3 of a liter, and we're hyper sodium. So I'm using a word that is not real. Sodiumizing it, which is very similar to what happens when you drink salt water, which causes water to. If you remember osmosis from high school. Water moves from areas of the least concentration to the highest concentration, so it's going to flood your gut with water, and guess what your body does to equalize a gradient? It flushes.
Yep.
Giving you, again, diarrhea.
We didn't think we
were going to say it twice in the same show, diarrhea.
And your final question is, what is your favorite off-plan meal and why?
Whew.
And you can only pick one this time.
Okay.
One.
Okay, pizza. I figured you were
going to say all you can eat sushi.
That was going to be silver. That's the second place. But if you were like gun to head, you can only eat one for the rest of your life, pizza.
Okay. Why? Yeah. Just because it's your personal preference?
Because it's freaking awesome. Like, if you don't like pizza, screw you. Like, I question your life decisions if you don't like pizza. And pizza don't like me. Like, this is an abusive relationship. Like, I love pizza. I'm always there for pizza.
It's not there for you.
Pizza does not love me. Pizza cheats on me all the time. I wake up in the morning and I straight get hung over like I got hit by a truck. I'm all puffy on my face.
Puffy.
Yeah. It looked like I tied one on. Like, I just tied on 3 slices. That's what I tied on last night.
Nah.
So realistically, I might have pizza. Maybe twice this last year?
Yeah.
The 12 years. Yeah, 12 months. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. I don't make the trade very often.
He's usually like I am with ice cream with pizza. He talks about it way more than he actually eats it.
Because it's a trade that I have to consciously make, but it's still my favorite trade.
Yes.
It's definitely what they call it, a guilty pleasure.
Yes, absolutely. So, well, we hope that we've entertained you guys. You've gotten to know us a little bit more, and also provided some value. If you ever have any questions that you want us to cover, you can always shoot them to us. We'll
comment below if you're on live.
We'll think about
YouTube,
including those in the next one. We don't know what the next one's going to be about or when it's going to be.
Same thing, just diarrhea and pizza. And not necessarily, and normally not in that order. Probably pizza then diarrhea.
Let's go for silver lining things, okay?
Pizza, that's the silver.
Okay, we can leave pizza. We'll leave it with
even
pizza.
Even if it comes with diarrhea.
And ice cream cake, tacos, and steak.
But
can you tell that we're foodies at heart? Just
you murdered the steak. You can't have the steak.
But that was
actually, sorry, I'm not supposed to say that word on YouTube. It'll get flagged.
That was see, everything was fine until
wait, what's the unalived? That's the word you're supposed to say on YouTube instead of.
I don't know because I'm not good at that.
You unalived steak, which is ironic because it is unalive. All right, guys. If you have questions, please leave them below. Also, if you are interested in getting a customized plan, we are coaches that coach real people just like you, and we're pretty dang good at what we do. So if you have questions or if you just want to chat, we're absolutely here for you. So shoot us a message or comment below, and we'll reach out and we'll have that conversation. But either way, hope you guys have an awesome day, and we'll catch you on the next time.
Bye, guys.